Namaskar. Welcome to our course on the Bhagavad Gita. We'll be exploring this subject today. It is the lesson 3, but before that, let's do a short review. Let's see what we have seen so far. So, also, I just want to remind you that you can communicate with me through the chat window. So if you type it there, I'm making an effort to follow whatever you type there. And if there is a question that is related to the subject, immediately I can reply. So we can use that as communication for now. Okay, so the review. On the first lesson, it was more of like an introduction. Okay, let me go back here just a moment. The first lesson was more of an introduction. Okay, so if by chance there are technical problems, you can also know. I think we are back. So the lesson 1 was an introduction. The lesson 2, we were talking about the meaning of the word Krishna. And there were 3 meanings that we explored. So the first one is that Krishna means one who attracts. In fact, attracts everything into, let's say, himself or into oneself. So that was the first meaning. The second meaning of the word Krishna was just black color. And the third meaning was the feeling of I am, or it is that which we can attain through a profound sadhana. We attain Krishna, or we attain that feeling of I am. So that was what we have seen in the course so far. And today we'll go to the third lesson, and we'll continue exploring the meaning of the word Krishna. This time we'll look at it from the point of view of Raja Yoga. And that will be the main topic today. It's quite an interesting topic. Let's see. So this is a 4th interpretation of the word Krishna. So we are going to look at Krishna in Raja Yoga. Now the human structure as per Raja Yoga, we'll take a look at it so that we can understand what is the place or what is the significance of Krishna in Raja Yoga. So we'll be looking at the mind and the body and the relationship between mind and body. And by understanding what is the view of the mind and of the body through Raja Yoga, we can position Krishna in that system of yoga. So let's look at the human structure according to Raja Yoga. So there are various points, as you can see. There is the body, there is the mind, and there is consciousness. We have a nervous system, we have inborn instincts, and we have various functions, hunger, sleep. And let us see how they interrelate. What is the interrelation between these various parts of the human structure. So the mind basically controls the body, and it uses the nervous system to control. So if there is a stimulus coming from the mind through the nervous cells, through the nervous fibers, and it commands the body. So the body acts according to the mind's command. So let's say that the mind controls the body. But there are certain activities of our body which are not controlled directly by the mind. These activities, the body is working, is functioning, and those activities are needed to keep the body alive. But the mind is not directly controlling them. Let's say certain functions of the body, even like the heart is beating, we are breathing, even we are sleeping, we are not even conscious of that, and everything is continuing. So these activities, they are not directly controlled by the mind through the nervous system. It is happening automatically. Okay, so let's say it is directly related to the body and does not come under the control, the direct control of the mind. So that's another kind of activities. They are happening and the mind is not directly controlling it. Then there are other activities like hunger, thirst, sleep, drowsiness. These activities are not directly controlled by the mind. Let's say it's not that you are telling yourself, now I'm gonna be hungry. Now I'm gonna be thirsty. Oh, I don't want to be hungry now. Oh, I don't want to be thirsty now. It's not really directly under the control of the mind. So so we saw three categories of the activities here. Those that are natural instincts that are directly related to the body. Those that the mind is giving a direct command through the nervous system and the body is following it. So that's the second one. And three, this type of activity like hunger, thirst, sleep, drowsiness, that is related to the mind, but is not exactly related to the mind giving control or controlling them through the nervous system. It is parallel. So let's say there are three categories of activities in our human structure. Okay, and we saw that one category related to the mind with the nervous system, one category directly related to the body, another category is related to the mind but it's not related through the nervous system. This category, which is the hunger or thirst and sleep and so on, they are related to another system. It is called the system of the vayus. We can translate vayu as air. So, but basically here it's the system related to the flow of vital energy in the body. And these vayus, or these 10, I can say, airs, or 10 vayus, there are 5 that are internal and 5 that are external. Now let's see the internal ones. There is one that its scope of activity is from the navel point to the throat. So the area which is in yellow, and it controls breathing, inhalation, exhalation. This vayu is called prana. So that's the number 1. The number 2 is called apana, and it functions from the navel point to the anus, so in the lower part of the body. So that's the second flow of vital energy. You may experience, for example, if somebody has, let's say, constipation, stomach, the intestines have difficult to eliminate. It means the air, the vayu in that area is not strong and is not being able to do its work of eliminating the stool and or the urine. Okay, so but if somebody has, for example, diarrhea, maybe there is a lot of activity of the vayu in that area, so that's why it's moving so quickly. So the first one is functioning from the navel to the throat. The number 2 is from the navel to the anus. The number 3 is called samana, and it functions in the navel area. It maintains the balance between the prana and apana. Okay, so that is the samana. It's in the middle there, number 3. Then we have number 4. It's called udana, and it is in the vocal cord. It controls the voice and the vocal cord. So that is another vayu, number 4. And number 5 is throughout the whole body. It's called vyana. So it is on this here, vyana. And it is responsible for blood circulation and the physical function of the nerves. So this vayu means there is a flow of vital energy, and it's related to the aerial factor. So it's related to air. And so this blood circulation is helped by this vyana. So somebody who has very poor circulation is because this vayu is not strong enough. So these are the 5 internal vayus. So that is a system that is different from the nervous system. So that's another system, this system of vayus. And the external vayus, which are the external vayus. So we have the first one here is naga. Naga gives the power to jump or extend the body or throw an object. So that's the power to extend the body. Let's say a baseball player, a pitcher, now throwing the ball. He will have this vayu, a lot of power with this vayu. So it can throw an object with a very high speed. And the second one is kurma. Kurma basically means a turtle. So here it has the power of contraction. So the first one, naga, is expansion. The second one, kurma, is contraction. Then there is krikara. It's related to yawning. You see, when you yawn, it's like you feel the movement of that vayu. Then number 4, devadatta, is related to thirst and hunger. So that's the vayu that controls thirst and hunger. And the last one here is dhananjaya. It controls sleep and drowsiness. So we saw 5 internal vayus, 5 external vayus. So now there is a relation between the work of these vayus and the mind. In fact, there is a causal relationship. What does it mean? It means that one affects the other directly. If you see in the figure, in that figure, when, for example, the respiratory rate goes up, it means we are breathing very fast. Then on the other side, mental activity also goes up. It means that the mind becomes more restless when the body is more restless. So if the body, suppose you run and your breathing system is very fast, at that moment you cannot think very deeply. If somebody asks you a hard question or things like that, you can't gather the mental concentration to reply a question in that case, or your mind doesn't have the same power of concentration. So that is the direct relationship between the system, the vayus, and the mind. The vayus are agitated, mind is agitated. Therefore, there is a practice in yoga called pranayama. Yama means control, prana is the vayu, so control of the vayu. Now, this will control the flow of vital energy in the body. And it's a very systematic process of controlling it. So through a technique of breathing in, breathing out, and there are more elaborated types of pranayama, more simple ones, but it's all related to the breathing, the way somebody's breathing, or the way you are stimulating the flow of vital energy in the body. So through this pranayama, one would be able to control that system of the 10 vayus, therefore exert some control over the mind. It means more pause or more, let's say, less agitation in the vayus system corresponds to a more calm, concentrated mind. And that's why when we do meditation, we keep the body motionless, without movement. If we are moving the body, so the body is moving, mind has tendency to move. If the body is motionless, since means the vayus are controlled, then the mind is also controlled. Many people ask, Dada, but what about walking meditation or different meditation with movements? It may be good to prepare the mind for meditation, like even kirtan. In kirtan, somebody will sing, will use the arms and the legs, and in a dance system. So it means that you are moving the body, but one thing about kirtan is that the movement of kirtan is very, let's say, harmonious and has a certain system. Plus, we are singing and we are listening. So, in that way, also, you are kind of bringing the movement of the vital energy in your body under a certain control. Then, when you will sit down motionless for deep meditation, the vayus are already flowing in a certain rhythm, and it becomes very easy to go deeper in meditation. So that's how to say, that's why the way the dance is in kirtan, soft and harmonious, is important. Okay, so let's move ahead one more. Here is a shloka. Indriyanam manonatha manonatastu maruta. It basically translates like that the indriyas, which are the sensory and the motor organs, we have 5 sensory organs, 5 motor organs, they are controlled by the mind, and the mind is controlled by the vayus. So what is the idea here? Is that that system of vayus, means the 10 vayus, 5 internal, 5 external, if we can control them, means if we can bring them to a state close to pause, that they are not very agitated, the consequence or the direct effect will be that the mind also will get very concentrated, and it will become much more deep, the meditation. It will make the meditation much easier. So that is the effect of pranayama. Pranayama will help that one can meditate deeper. So it brings those vayus under control, mind comes more under control, then you can really think in a concentrated way, which is meditation. Okay, now that was the system. Let's say in the beginning I presented 3 systems. One, that is the mind through the nervous system controlling the body. That's one system. Then another system of the natural instincts, innate instincts. And then now we are coming, the third system was the vayus. Okay, so these 3 are functioning simultaneously in our structure. Now we are doing a practice, Raja Yoga, we are doing this practice to bring this body structure, mind structure under certain control, means we want to go into deep meditation. Therefore, with pranayama, we are working on that system of vayus. So we are bringing the vayus under control so mind can meditate deep. Now let's see the other system, which is the system that the mind is exerting control over the body. There is a tendency to think that the whole mind is in the head, so through the head is controlling the whole body. But there is a system in yoga called cakras, the chakra system. A chakra is basically a substation of the mind. Let's say that is the main station, and then there are substations. So the substations are the chakras, which are also called Padma, which means lotus, which are also called Kamala, which also means lotus, and is also called in Latin plexus. So these substations or these chakras are points from where mind exerts control over certain parts of the body. So that is, these main chakras are 7 in number, and they are distributed through the body. So the first chakra, you will see the Sanskrit name is there, Muladhara. It is, we can say it is at the base of the spine. The second chakra, called Swadhisthana, which is at the height of the genital area. And the third chakra, Manipur, is at the navel point, that navel area. And Anahata at the chest, Vishuddha, throat. Agya chakra is in between the eyebrows, and Sahasrara chakra is on the top of the head. These chakras are related to glands. So in the figure, I only put the higher 2 chakras. The Agya chakra is related to the pituitary gland, while the Sahasrara chakra is related to the pineal gland. Now, the higher chakra controls the lower chakras. So let's say that Sahasrara, being the highest chakra, it controls all the other chakras. So we understand here that this pineal gland is a very important gland because it actually controls all the other glands, because higher chakra controls all the lower chakras. And the chakra, each chakra is in the subtle body. In the crude physical body, there is a gland corresponding to that chakra. So in this case here, the pineal gland will be very important to control the whole functioning of the human structure physically. Now, I knew one surgeon, a doctor, and he was specialized in the pineal gland, but he was mostly for surgery. His knowledge was most related to surgery. So he said that actually most of the time, if there is like a tumor or some problem with the pineal gland, what they do is they just remove it, because he said anyway the pineal gland is not so useful, it's just there, so when there is a problem we just remove it. But in Raja Yoga, pineal gland is a very important structure. In fact, it controls the whole human structure. So removing it may have some effects in the subtle life of an individual. Maybe not in the physical life, one will continue and doing all activities, but maybe in the subtle mental life, it will have a deep effect. All right, so this is the chakra system, and this is related to the mind having a control over the body. Instead of controlling everything from the highest chakra, which is the Sahasrara, the mind will exert its control through each chakra. So it is very important that we develop each one. So it's not that we only need to develop Sahasrara chakra and then we can control the whole thing and then everything is fine. We have to practice in such a way that each chakra will be under control, then the Sahasrara will have an easy time to control the whole structure. Because if all the other chakras are not in harmony or is not under our control, then it will be very difficult also for the Sahasrara to exert control over the other chakras. It is, the example is like if you have a good driver, but the car also needs to be good, not only the driver. So you need to have a good driver and a good car. So that's the idea. You have to develop each chakra, work on each chakra, then you can get a good result by controlling the Sahasrara chakra. All right. So how does this chakra system work? And according to this, according to Raja Yoga. So each chakra, there is a sound related to the chakra, and this is called bija mantra. So in the figure, which is a kind of a representation, the central point where you will see this bija mantra Vang, that is the acoustic root of this chakra. This chakra here is the Swadhisthana chakra. Okay, so that's the acoustic root of this chakra is Vang. So that's the bija mantra. Now this bija mantra will control the nucleus of this chakra. The other thing is that each chakra emanates sound vibrations. And these sound vibrations are related to the mental propensities. What is a mental propensity? You will see there in the figure, this second chakra, Swadhisthana chakra, has control over 6 mental propensities, which are indifference, lack of common sense, indulgence, lack of confidence, fear or thought of annihilation, of sure annihilation, and cruelty. These are mental propensities related to this Swadhisthana chakra, which is the second chakra. Okay? Now, each of these propensities is related also to a sound. And these are the sounds you see. Ba, these are letters of the Sanskrit alphabet. Ba, bha, ma, ya, ra, la. So now, usually when we think, when we have a thought, our thought vibrates our mind. And consequently, the mind vibrates the nerve cells and nerve fibers. Now, another thing is that each of these propensities is related to a point in a chakra. So let's say that usually here I just put represented in this way, but normally it will be represented like a petal of a flower. So in this case here, there will be 6 petals. And so there is the chakra structure will have a nucleus and these 6, let's say, points or subglands around it, and they will be related to this mental propensities. Now, let's see the next one. Oh, first, let me ask you a question. This question, let me put here on the screen. Another propensity, for example, is fear propensity. So according to you, which area of the body is related to the fear propensity? Okay, let's say somebody has a lot of fear. So which area of the body you think is related to that propensity? Let me give you some time to answer. Okay, most of you, 80% have answered. Almost everybody. Okay, so I will stop now. Let's see what was your reply. Okay, your reply is very divided. 20% think that fear is related to the head, 0% throat, 40% chest, 20% navel area, 20% genital area. Let's say fear. I have a lot of fear. So usually when the people have a lot of fear, they have some problem in their digestive system. No, like the maybe they will get some, even sometimes they will get some diarrhea out of a lot of fear. So it is actually mostly related to the navel area. Of course, you feel in the mind because you see something, maybe you see a bear is coming towards you, so you, by seeing that you get fearful, but in that case is you're just receiving that information and the mind is thinking, oh, this is something that I should be afraid of, but the trigger is happening in the navel area. So I would say here the navel area is the right reply, but anyway, so actually, fear is one of the propensities on the navel area chakra, which is the third chakra. Okay, so we were looking before at the second chakra. No, let's see if I can go back here to the second chakra. Let me go back. Okay, the computer is a bit slow here. Okay, it's now going back. Okay, this was the second chakra. So in this second chakra, one of the propensities is indifference. All right, so I'm indifferent to something. That's related to the second chakra. This indifference, these propensities are not always bad, okay? For example, indifference can be sometimes good. If I am indifferent to the suffering of other people, that is bad, let's say. It's not good. But suppose I'm indifferent to, let's say I'm passing in front of a bar and people are there drinking, but I'm indifferent to it. It means I don't go there, I'm not attracted to it. So in that case, indifference is working in your favor. Okay, so it doesn't mean that these propensities of mind are always bad. And if in the slides you see some things that I didn't translate, is because I've been giving these classes in Italian and then I translated all the slides into English, and some parts I missed the translation. Okay. And sometimes it's an Italianized English. All right. Okay, so That was about the second chakra. That was the question, was about the fear, which part of the body. Oh, since we are here, let me put you another question then. Let's see what you think about this one. What about hope? Hope is also a propensity. And what area of the body do you think is related to hope? You don't need to fear missing the right answer. Just answer whatever comes in your mind first. Click on that one. Okay, I think most of you have answered. Let me close it. Let's see what you answered. Okay, 20% of you think it's in the head, 0% throat area, 80% of most of you chest area, 0% navel area, 0% genital area. Okay, let's see. For example, suppose somebody loses hope. Okay, somebody loses hope. Usually what happens? Their chest goes a little bit in. They become a little bit crooked towards the front, you know. That's not much hope. And if they are very much hope, the chest opens up, you know. So I would say that it's in the chest area. And in fact, hope is one of the propensities of this chakra, Anahata chakra, located in the chest area. All right, so let's say that the mind, everything is controlled by the mind. That's why we have the tendency to think that, oh yes, hope is in the mind, fear is in the mind. These are all mental propensities, so it's in the mind. And then we think, and mind is in the head. But these two questions are to give an example that the whole control is not exerted from the head. Certain control is exerted from the different chakras. So the chest area, it has a control over this hope, but it's also related to, everything is related to the main point of control of the mind, but those substations have directly control, and the indirectly control is on the higher chakras. So now the chakras in the head will control all the other chakras, but the idea here is that we'll work on each of the chakras. So mental propensities are coming under control. Then it's much easier to have a full control with the higher chakras. All right, so that was the idea. Okay, so enough for these questions. Let's move ahead here. Talking about propensities. So I presented in the second chakra 6 of them. Then we talk about hope. So let's say already 7. And we talk about fear. That's 8. There are, according to Raja Yoga, 50 main propensities. And these 50 propensities, they can work or they can express internally or externally. It means you have a lot of fear and you may just hold it inside, nobody can see it. Or it express outside and maybe you run away or you faint or so this can work internally and externally. So let's say 50 propensities are working inside and outside. That makes 100. So 100 ways of expressing. And it can make you do things in any direction. So symbolically, there are 10 directions. Let's say north, south, east, west, up, down, and then you have northeast, northwest, southwest, southeast. So making these 10 main directions. So the Raja Yoga system says that the mind can work in these 10 directions. All right, so the 50 propensities, inside, outside, and expressing the 10 directions makes a number of 1000. And the Sahasrara chakra means the chakra with 1000 petals, so 1000, it is controlling these 1000 propensities. So that is the main controlling point, the top chakra, the Sahasrara chakra. And it is controlling the 1000 propensities. And so that's the supreme controlling center, the Sahasrara chakra. All right, so so the system is that there are all these chakras. You work by perfecting, controlling each of these chakras. There are sounds related to the chakras, so the systems of meditation will use these sounds. There are propensities related to the chakras, so using all this whole knowledge, there are specific practices of meditation to control all these chakras. But the main controlling point is the seventh chakra of the Sahasrara chakra. In Raja Yoga, the center, the supreme controlling center, is called Parama Shiva. And in Vaishnava Tantra is called Krishna. So now we come to Krishna. So the whole idea was, what is the meaning of Krishna in Raja Yoga? So the meaning of Krishna in Raja Yoga is that supreme controlling point, and also Paramashiva. So that's the meaning of Krishna in Raja Yoga. And the whole idea is to elevate the Kundalini to that point. So elevate Kundalini to the point of Paramashiva. In Vaishnava Tantra will be Radha reach to Krishna. See, Radha is Kula Kundalini, Krishna is that supreme controlling point, so Radha will reach Krishna. So Radha always wants to go towards Krishna. So Kundalini also, we are bringing it towards the Krishna, towards the Paramashiva. So that's the meaning. So this whole presentation is what is the meaning of Krishna in Raja Yoga. So everything was just to show what is the significance of Krishna in Raja Yoga. So that controlling point of the Sahasrara chakra, that is Krishna or Shiva. And is also, in philosophy, it is also called Purushottama. So from that point, it's controlling our whole structure. That's the Purushottama point. That's the Shiva point. That's the Krishna point. So that's the Sahasrara chakra. So, so far, we have seen Krishna, let's say historical. We started with the Mahabharata, Krishna and Arjuna, and the war of Mahabharata, and then Krishna starts with the Gita. So now we are analyzing the Gita. So historically, Krishna was that personality in the Mahabharata that gave the Bhagavad Gita. All right, so that's historically. Philosophically, we studied the meaning of Krishna as the supreme attractive one, so the one that is attracting everything into oneself. We also looked at Krishna with the meaning of being the I am, the deep feeling of I am. So that we saw it in philosophy. And now in the biological structure of the human being, we came to the Raja Yoga, where Krishna is the supreme controlling point of this structure. So there is a historical Krishna, there is a philosophical Krishna, there is a biological Krishna. And the point here is that all these expressions of Krishna are basically the expression of one same entity. So Krishna is actually one, and there are all these representations or expressions. But in the end, it's one. Okay, so that was today's presentation. You have some time for questions. I just make a short closing. So we have the human mind, we have the mind exerting control through the nervous system, exert controls over the body. And if we see this from the system of Raja Yoga, there is all the systems of the chakras, how the mind is exerting its control through these various substations throughout the body. Okay, so that's one system. Then we talked also about the system of the flow of vital energy, the airs, the vayus, and that system one will control through the practice of pranayama. So already one system, two systems. And then what is the Krishna? What is Krishna? What is Shiva? Is the controlling point of the Sahasrara chakra. Okay, we talked about all the controlling substations, all the chakras. In brief, I gave example of the second chakra and the 6 propensities. We also saw 2 other propensities and which chakras they are. And we talked about the Kundalini, a little bit about Kundalini. Okay, so that was today's presentation. Now you can type if you have any question, anything you want to share, you can type on the chat window, then I can see here. Okay, the first question is if I'm going to talk more about Kula Kundalini. Yes, there'll be other chapters, we'll talk a little bit more about it. I don't see any other questions. If you want to ask a question, we have a few moments still. Okay, one thing I would say, you can review the previous presentations and do an exercise. This exercise is write down, or in simple, it's to make a glossary. Write down all the Sanskrit words that we have talked so far. And you can write a little bit the meaning of it. So try to classify them so that, because to understand deeper the philosophy, you don't really have to know Sanskrit, but some basic words is important to know. So if you can write down in a paper, or so that you have in front of you the basic Sanskrit words that we are talking about, so that when we use the words, you kind of connect to it, you know. And just by writing it down also, you will get more familiar with these words. So look at the videos and note down these Sanskrit words, and you will have much more easy way to understand the philosophy. All right? It's actually a little bit study needed to follow well the course. All right, I think coming to the end now here, that was the questions and answers. Okay, thank you very much for taking your time to participate in this webinar. And see you in a week. Namaskar.